Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 1 85 Bred, also known as the Jordan 1 Band. The Jordan 1 Bred releases in 2 days, February 14th, and not only that, but the Union Jordan 1 Chicago might also have their Union release then. We're waiting them to confirm still, otherwise the main drop for them is on the 28th. Whenever it is, we will have the early domain link posted inside of my group Endurance, which you could join with the link in the description below for early info and more beyond reselling too, like stock investing and sports betting. But for these Jordan 1 Breds, they're retailing for a whopping $250, but it doesn't matter, and I'll explain why. In order to determine if the Jordan 1 Bred will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially all pairs go into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding? Not the retail to resale initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, if they go up, are they going to be worth your time? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. Stock on these is just barely under 10,000 pairs in the US, with about each store getting 400 pairs, with some more dropping overseas as well for a total of around 20,000 pairs, which is some of the lowest stock we've ever seen on a classic Jordan 1 colorway, or any Jordan in general for the matter, even less than many big collabs like Travis Scott's. Demand is also extremely high. Not surprising, because this is an absolutely classic colorway. Not only that, but they put extra effort into making these resemble the original 85 pair in aesthetic and even material. Hence, some are claiming this to be their favorite Jordan retro ever. With that said, I am expecting all sizes to be profitable with a great to incredible margin, full throttle release regardless of the high retail of $250. Currently, sizes 8 to 12 in men's are at an average of $444, the highest average we've seen on a non-Travis Scott Jordan 1 in a very long time. Now, after the drop, we often see an impulsivity effect where prices usually jump around 10% on many sneakers. I think this is going to surprise a lot of people, but I'm actually not expecting an impulsivity effect beyond the 444 range that much, and I'll explain why. A member in Endurance asked me a really good question. Would these react like the Jordan 17 All-Star Lightning post-drop, where they actually jumped way more than usual? And I actually said no, and here's why. Contrary to those 17s, everyone is already well aware of how hard these are going to be to get. They're well aware of both the demand and very limited stock. It's very publicized. Those 17s were undervalued before the drop, leading to a massive post-drop jump. I think these Breds, on the other hand, are at a relatively fair valuation, so I'm not expecting a big jump like that. The market already knows what to expect with these. The only thing that may not be priced in is people expecting a potential surprise sneakers drop, and when it doesn't come, we might see a slight gradual increase of around 5%. Hence, I'd only expect around a 5% increase post-drop at maximum for these. This would hypothetically leave the average for sizes 8 to 12 at $466 at max and $444 at least, with larger sizes being close to $500. So really no big change from what we're seeing right now. Now, let's discuss what prices are going to look like once the shipments go out in that 2 to 3 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs usually would all be going into circulation. Normally, we see a 10% decrease in value on general releases, sometimes even more than that. I actually don't think that's going to be the case with these, though, considering how limited stock is and the fact that a lot of pairs are already in circulation right on drop day from plenty of backdoors and in-store raffles. So I'd actually expect that mid-400 range to hold up even weeks after the release, which is something we rarely see. But now that the average price range at those points in time are evident, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from the post-shipment prices or even continue to decrease. Jordan 1s in general have not been good holds for the last few years, with almost all of them depreciating, but this pair is obviously quite different. With such low stock and high demand, I can't see these really depreciating, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to begin increasing for quite a long time, considering they will be starting at such a high valuation. So with that said, regarding the hold margin on these, basically, are they going to be worth your time when they do eventually increase? Because eventually, I do expect these to increase, of course. This is going to go down as a very historically important sneaker. But even when they do increase, in order to achieve a good ROI, they need to increase quite a lot since the starting value is so high in the mid 400s. Eventually, if these were to increase to $550 hypothetically, that would just be about a 22% ROI, which is decent. It beats the index fund, but it's nothing spectacular. Hence, I'd rate these just hardly above average, mostly due to their historical importance long-term at 6 out of 10. It's an above-average hold, but far from the best we've discussed. Remember, it's not about how great or hyped or limited a sneaker is. It's about if there's an opportunity for a good ROI when holding shoes. If you're watching before the drop, good luck, and remember, we will post a Union early link inside of Endurance, which you could join with the link in the description. Other than that, though, have a great rest of your day.